Good evening. Welcome to OptionsTender. It is Wednesday, FOMC day, also big tech earnings. We'll look at three of those big tech stocks that reported after the bell today. And it's January 29th, 2025. So we're getting real close to the end of the month as well. So we're doing the top-down analysis. And we'll start off with SPX as we usually do with all the new traders that are joining to view this channel. Love all of the support. Thanks, you guys. So we're doing this after. Usually we do this intraday, and you can get those intraday videos if you become a 99-cent a month member. And but we're doing this after, a little bit different because of we wanted to see the results. There was not a whole lot happening today, so no reason to just show chop. There was some volatility up and down, but no reason to show that. Now that we have the results, we'll go through the top-down analysis and then show futures for NQ and ES and kind of describe what we think is happening next, okay? And I wouldn't say that a whole lot has resolved today, but I do believe that with the inside day that we'll see on the daily time frame, that we'll have a large move tomorrow, whether that be overnight or after the open tomorrow after the bell. Okay, so we have SPX on the monthly time frame. We have 1929, 2000 top. This trend line is in confluence with the 2008 and 21 top, and that all comes together right here, folks, and that's what we're rejecting so far. Not a heavy move. I do believe this, we're topping out. The one thing that we're trying to figure out is there one last little leg that spikes up here, maybe is a throw over and dips back underneath. Okay, so that's the big picture question that we're trying to figure out, and we don't have those answers yet, but I have some sort of direction, okay, and how we're trading this. All right, let's go to SPY. We don't need to look at SPY on the monthly again. Basically shows the same thing, and that monthly candle may end up being a doji since we only have a couple days left. So we'll kind of monitor that, and that could be an indecision or technically a reversal candle. Now, we made a new high here. We made new divergence as of this weekly top here. This is going to play out. All right. We don't know if we're going to get a new high here and then fall, but we're certainly. The probability is that we reverse them from here. This is such a huge resistance zone. You see the negative divergences. We already had the crossover here to complete that divergence. All right. And now we fall, in my opinion. Divergence played out here. And what the first stop that I think we're going to make here is this initial point around 560, and that's going to be a zone there, but this was a huge resistance there at the weekly. And if you look on our other board here, it was a former target, the 162 that we hit and had huge rejections off and ended up getting above, and therefore it's a breakout. I do presume we will have a back test of that zone when price decides to turn. Okay, so that's 560. And notice we have the beginning of February into the middle of February, a time and price cluster here. So we'll see where price is when February comes about. And that starts next week, but this goes all the way to 217. And I have some targets for 217 as well. It's some timing. Now, just a quick, somebody was asking about how do I get these time and price? Well, I use the time ratio. The looks like this. It's the Fibonacci, sorry, not the extension. It's the Fibonacci time ratio. It's like a little circle with maybe a percent sign or something like that there. And then you go from, on different time frames, you go from major lows to major highs, or major low to major low, and you get these different clusters that come out. The market is symmetrical. Let's go down to the daily time frame. Daily trend is our friend. So we have this bearish rising wedge. It expanded, and so we have this, I have highlighted the white trend line here, so that's going to be an important trend line. We barely made a new high, tagged that 2008 confluence with the 1929 trend line, and rejected off there hard on the daily time frame. Now we're getting a bounce, and I think that bounce is going to fail. So what the bulls are looking for, and I'm still looking for a tag of this area here. Price does not have to do that. I'll show you on the 65 minute that it can continue up from this point. We're over the 80 EMA, we're above the other moving averages. Doesn't have to go where I want it. So we did put on some hedges here into this move, and we're holding on to this 600 area. And so looking at tech, we're wondering, hey, what if tech is, all three of them are super bullish, or going into tomorrow, they might be bearish overnight, but going into tomorrow, they actually push to the upside. Then we want to hold on to some, we did TQQQ in this case, but if price wants to go higher, then, we'll have hedges to the upside. But what I'm looking for is at minimum, even if you're a bull, to come back and backtest this flag. And you can call it a backtest already, didn't tag anywhere, but if price does fall, then I think going to this trend line and the flag would be a good spot to once again take some profit, hedge your positions, and go from there. If it breaks down from that point, then I think we have a heavy fall coming to us. But the first point where we get a reaction, I think, would be this 565 to 555 zone. It's this former consolidation zone, and we have the 200 moving average here. And these lines, I'll post the video up top, and at the end are the big picture kind of comparison of recessional moves, like 2000 is the red one, for example. Price can move about 14%, I think 15%, something like that, in 16 trading days. It's basically 3 weeks and 1 day, and that's a huge move. So if this is the top, I just want you to be aware, if things start to fall out of bed, then you could see one of these type of moves occurring. All right, let's go to time and price and Fibonacci. Technical analysis. So at this point, do we have a 1-2 in, and we're looking for wave 3? That's what we're trying to figure out at this point. We do have some Fibonacci retracements with the 50% of this entire move, of this move from the low here to the high. The 50% comes in right at that 200 moving average here, and that just happens to be the breakout point that we're talking about, that consolidation area. So there's a lot of confluence on where this is. It just depends if price brings us to that point. We'll look to have a bounce. So that's my projection so far. And then we have, again, some clusters. The daily time frame, first cluster is around 2.4, 2.5. So February 4th or 5th. That looks like a good cluster. If prices up higher into this cluster, we'll be looking for some sort of reversal. If it's lower, then we'll look for some sort of bounce or reversal to the upside. Okay, that's how these work. And we have some more clusters going into later on in February as well. So when they line up like this one does with the weekly, it makes it a lot more important to observe. Going to the 65. And on that 65, I don't know if we showed the candle. Let me go to default. So we can see it. Yeah, we had that inside day here. So, I've seen it before. It's possible we have another inside day tomorrow. Not saying we will, but let's say those tech stocks are bouncing back and forth against each other. One's bullish, one's bearish. We could have another inside day because we have the CPE data, important inflation data on Friday. Okay, so that's another big catalyst before the market opens on Friday. So if there's, if that's what, the market's waiting on, some sort of catalyst, then, this was an inside day. We could have another inside day, and it could be an explosion to the upside. And this could happen tomorrow too. An explosion to the upside or to the downside. Okay, you don't know this. We're clearly in a bullish stance, but did we get our true reversal already? All right, huge move off of the trend lines that we were talking about, and this could be a bear flag continuation. That's what I'm looking for. But again, we hedge our positions into uncertainty. And when you're uncertain, lots of people tell you that they know exactly where the market's going and this and that, or they don't, and they'll just make fun of you, while other people talk about trading rather than predicting. I think we got our reversal, and I showed you the reasons why. And then if we don't get the reversal, then we trade to the upside. Okay, so, and we have some calls on NVIDIA and such. I'm not going to go through all those, but we'll go down to the 65 again. And on that 65 minute, you can see where the wedge bottom is here. That will be a crucial point for us. And we're looking to see if price falls and tests those areas. And at that point, here, let me show you exactly. So what I was looking for, I kind of framed it out, and this is just showing the area of support here. And then we have some time and price coming in here. I believe that's, can't see it, the 30th. That might be the 30th there. Yeah, so tomorrow. And then the 31st. Either way, there's a little cluster there. We had this one today that could create a bottom here. So we still have lower highs. So I still think this is a good area, 62% retracement. What could be happening? There's multiple things that could be happening. But in a nutshell, whether we get up to the 786 or we already rejected off the 62, I'm looking for a possible 1 or A, and then into a B. Is the B done yet? This could be a larger degree A, B, C that goes into 786, okay? So that's what I wanted to be aware of. Also, I will add on a couple more layers of puts into this spot because this could be an A, B getting up to 786, or it's already done, and then a C down into our support areas that we're talking about here. And then we could have a whole nother leg to the upside. Okay, that would be your bullish scenario. I'm my options portfolio is directed to the downside. It's leaned to the downside, so I have to protect those puts. And so in the purple, I have this being as wave 1, unfinished business, because we didn't touch any of those 50%, 60%, but the Qs did. So is it really that shallow of a move at the 382? I don't think so, but it's definitely possible. So what I'm looking for is this being a 1. We got our pullback to 2 at the 62% retracement of the initial move. And then we get a wave 3, which should cut through these support areas, which doesn't mean, it still means we're going to add, calls at this area. And then if price continues to fall, we take off some of our profit that could come out of that purely, but we're still going to make money on the downside. But and by the way, as we go through this move, these are large moves, so they do very well with options. Even if you add on some call, don't be greedy. Add on those hedges. And don't have a lot of pride. That'll kick you in the butt later on. So we're looking for an ABC into the 100% where A equals C. That's the bullish. And then the 160 2%. Extension of 1 to 2 would be down here at the 580 area. Okay. And that would just give us a bounce and a little bit further, which would bring us down to that 560 zone. Okay. Now, the one thing that I was looking for just in case was, what if this is just making a higher low here? And since we're above the 8 EMA and the 20 and the 50, what if tech is just really, really pushing tomorrow? And this 1-2 was just a shallow 1-2 because tech made it to the 62% retracement already. Okay, so what if this is now starting wave 3? We have that extreme move of wave 1, pull back to wave 2, and what if this is a 1-2? So 1-2, 1-2 setup. We'll start to know that if and when we get over this 786, we'll probably have plenty of time to get bullish into a much larger wave 3 to the upside. Okay, and those targets will be placed on there. Might as well do it right now. I have a video on this as well. Just quickly, from the correction from high to low, I know this looks really busy, but we have our targets up there. So that would be our target area. I think I already did this earlier. That's why it reaches right there. So wave 3 would likely get up to one of these zones here, 4 and then 5, okay, with negative divergence again, and then we'd head to the downside. So we have a lot of room to the 630 to 640. I think we mentioned that yesterday. And I'm going to take this off here. I'll add it back on and clean up charts later if that starts to develop. But this is either the downside situation, and ignore those because it's not going that direction. So we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a wave 1 coming down here, and then we'll get a nice large bounce, or we move up to new highs. That's how we're trading this. I think that price, we're already protected, but I think that price is still going to make a low here, and then we'll have another decision point. Hope that's clear for everybody. ES. Okay, so overnight right now, we're looking at a little bit of movement. Nothing significant. We have the high of the day and the low of the day. So breaking the lows or the highs is probably going to be our continuation of this move. So ES even has a spot up here that it has to get over, which that would be closing the gap here a little bit higher. It has to conquer to get above there. If this is an ABC, a larger ABC, then it could still fall from that point. But we start to get, a little bit more apprehensive, like, hey, this could continue. If it holds on to the zone, we go higher. Okay. Let's go to NQ. And this is the important one, after hours. Wow, that took some time. All right, so after hours, relatively a little bit stronger there. But again, we're making lower highs. We have to get over this high to even begin to think this is going to continue. So we'll see how this goes after night, after China opens in the morning. I won't be looking at it. I'll be sleeping. But sometime near the bell, we'll see where this is. Are we getting stronger? Do we want to close this gap here? Gaps are usually closed pretty quickly in the futures, but I've seen them last for months. So it could go either way. Now, again, let's just go to SPX. Go to 65. And this is an example of what price could happen. 15% move. And I believe it was 16 trading days. Just a huge, massive move if price wants to fail. So we're on top of this support area right now. if it holds the support, there's nothing that says this can't be a 1, 2. You get wave 3, 4, and 5 to the upside and still have to correct and get another 5 waves up for wave 5. So this would be a 1, 2, and start wave 3. But it's a little bit shallow. We didn't tag. We left unfinished business. So if price does make it down to here, that's when we have to be really cautious of that big time trend line and the flag breakout. Qs. QQQ. All right. Basically the same thing where we have this flag, had a fake break. It's holding on to the flag, in other words. And this already made it down to the 62%. So it doesn't mean price could go higher from here. All right. After hours, we're up 2 points. But price came down to the 62% already. Okay, so that's a valid 1-2 setup. If it does come lower, you still have the 786 here. That's lower. But if this is an A and this is a B, and again, B can go up to here, the 62% retracement at 524. And that probably means that SPY is up at its 786. All right, so I'm going to add some puts here just to keep balancing out the those hedges gaining premium and our puts losing. I want to add on some more puts. And then if A equals C, then we're likely to come down all the way down to 500 in here to be an ABC correction, just to be a correction. And then, if we're making a new low here, that obviously means that this is probably going to end up being an A, a B, a C with the lower low there, if this is bullish. If it's bearish, it goes lower, more like the 485 area. All right, so is this another 1, 2? Then you'd likely see 3, a bounce for 4, and then 5 lower, okay? And as we get confirmation, we'll start panning out some of these targets. And again, there's targets to the upside if this continues higher. Then we'll have a 1, 2, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to higher. And we'll make another divergence. We'll make a high here, and we'll be looking for more shorts at that point again. SMH. SMH had that huge move to the downside. Now, again, because we think SPY could still make an ABC with making a slight new high, let me jump back and forth. I want to be specific. So if this ends up just being an A, a B, and another C up here for the wave B or 2, then SMH, all it's doing, it has its initial move here, and then maybe this is an A, a B, and then a higher C to back test that breakdown zone. All right, that'd be perfectly normal. We can also look at this because it doesn't look like it's complete. You can't tell if it's a 1, 2, and then 3, and that's just a correction, you go higher, or if there's some sort of 4, 5 here, or is it on wave 4 right now? This is something I have not looked at yet. So, I mean, we've only made it to the 23%. If this is a wave 4 that's correcting right now, and this is a 1, 2, 3, this is 4, 4 can bounce to a shallow 23.6, but its next point here is the 382. And that's very typical for a wave 4. So maybe this is an A, B, C correction into the wave 4, and then we head lower. There's nothing wrong with that. That would mimic the market going up just a little bit higher. All right, and that would mimic if you have QQQ, same thing. Is this an A, B, and we just get a C here, or if we're relatively stronger, all the way up to the 786 and still make a lower high? You know, downtrend there, kind of shaping out. then maybe that's the same thing that the market. That's what we have to keep looking at back and forth. That's why I look at all these on a second screen at the same time. And this one, again, is at the a downtrend resistance. Is it going to hold on and get above that resistance? There's nothing to do here except hold on to my puts that I have, a couple puts. Not a huge trader of IWM or DIA, but nothing to do with them until price gets above this downtrend. And then we have one more target up above, a back test of this trend line, and or the 62% retracement. And that would bring us up to the trend line there. Okay, so again, that would probably be an A, B, C correction. All right, so those are the things. I know these wave C's are a lot shorter, but it doesn't matter. It brings us into the next target on all those. You see what I mean? How those can all mimic each other. They're just at different levels. Well, once everything kind of comes in line, if we get up to these next levels, these are great objective shorts. Can show DIA real quick. This bearish rising wedge. This with DIA, if this is going to make a new high, if everything else is correcting to the upside, maybe this ekes out a brand new high, which should still be a double top, whether you make a high or not. We're still calling this a double top. It would form another divergence, and that would be on the weekly time frame as well. Okay, so monitoring this, I'm already short DIA. And last but not least, the VIX. So the VIX is in a very important spot. This may have already corrected and bottomed already. We'll see how that goes. Had this large move and then this wedge, but this could be an A, a B move, and a C that just made a lower low here. All right, I don't know if we had any divergence off that move. A little bit, could be. But we're in bullish territory anyway, so on the daily time frame, we just want to look at this because I think we're battling on with the 200-day moving average. Okay, that's been a huge spot this whole time. Each time it comes down there, you get a nice move off of it. Sometimes it breaks down a little bit, but it's been trading around here. Just a huge move. Back tested 200. 200 is such an important part, and we do have to acknowledge that price got underneath and then gapped back over and now is back testing that 200. Also the 80 MA. So is this a graveyard candle? Is this our reversal graveyard candle? That we'll see tomorrow. All right. And I think that's the case. So thanks for joining me here at OptionsTender. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for all the support, you guys. Tons of members. Great camaraderie in the Discord. Good times. Let's trade and make some money.